Hello and welcome to Business Reporter's Best of British Business campaign. Enterprise technology leaders in banking and financial services work within scale, regulation and scrutiny. Their decisions affect resilience, compliance and long-term trust. Modernisation is required, but stability cannot be compromised. In this environment, partnerships hold equal weight to platforms. So how does it work? Today with us is Suman Alamseti from BGTS to explain the successful process and the impactful technology. Good morning.
Good morning.
What defines today's enterprise technology challenge for the banking and financial services sectors?
The main problem and challenge within banking and financial sectors is not the technology, in my opinion. It's more about infrastructure issue. By which what I mean is most businesses in most industries, the technology works alongside the business, alongside the operations, augmenting the performance of the business. But in banking and financial sectors, the technology itself is the business. Its core platform, its core intelligence, banking intelligence, the infrastructure itself, the APIs, the customer platforms, all are technology driven. So it itself is technology. And there is a complexity of layering. By what I mean layering is the large banks for decades are built on complex systems, complex legacy systems, which are, for example, mainframes built upon middleware, mainframe sitting beneath middleware, and middleware sitting beneath the modern APIs, and the complex and modern applications sitting above these APIs, modern APIs. That increases the problems of complexity within the business, within the large banks. And then driving the transformation through those technology changes, through that technology stack is highly difficult and complex to navigate.
So why do large financial institutions struggle to scale without risk?
The scalability in banking and financial institutions doesn't come gradually. It comes at a pace. If there is a transformational change required, if there is a regulatory change or a control is required, a new regulatory control needs to be in place, or if there is a customer requirement and the business needs to change or adapt to that customer need, a new system needs to be built, then the matter of scalability comes in place. The reason is you have the internal teams already stretched to the extreme with their current workload. Then the leaders the hiring managers look for either hiring the permanent staff or looking for suppliers who can augment their capabilities. And that itself is a problem because you are addressing the skill gap, you're addressing essentially the capacity, but bringing a wrong supplier into the ecosystem who doesn't have the ability to work in a regulatory space itself becomes a problem. And then you think about bringing a supplier who can augment the staff. The most important thing is to think about an embedded supplier who can augment that staff capability and enhance that capability, not at a short term, but at a longer term.
So let's look at BGTS for a moment. How do you typically engage with programs that are already in motion?
We are often called into programs such as, like you mentioned, the programs already in motion on few reasons, mainly when the program either is in distress or the program needs a scalability when there is a new feature need to be built. This means that their own internal teams doesn't have the capacity to do so. So then we get in there. And as a supplier, when we get in there, as a partner, when we get in there, we initially look at the current systems in place, the current staff and the current architecture, the current governance, and then we go on to embed ourselves within the cross-functional teams to address these challenges. Whilst we address these challenges and also build the systems, we kind of look at the longevity value of transferring the knowledge to the internal teams. So that creates much more value down the line in terms of retaining the knowledge within the teams and giving that confidence back.
So let's look at flexibility. What role does that play in long-term relationships within BFSI?
Flexibility is often defined or understood wrong within banking sector. Flexibility doesn't mean that you have to change the course if something is not going in the direction it should be. Flexibility is more about trying to change or adapt the change with control in place. That's the most important thing. Then you have the teams who should understand the governance, the control, the risks associated within the business as well.
Everyone's talking about AI, so how can AI improve IT solutions within the banking sector without compromising trust?
AI has been there for a while in terms of machine language. With Gen AI coming in place, the value of AI sitting in proof of concepts and now being moved toward production, which means that they're already embedded into systems to either enhance the workflows or efficiency of workforce. And that comes with a challenge. So for example, in IT operations, it creates a great value. It can understand the patterns between the incident data and monitoring tickets, and it can define the problems or flag the anomalies before it becomes an issue. So it has the capability and power to compute, which a normal human cannot do. So these are all the wonderful things AI can do in service operations, for example. But when you embed AI, then the problem is you need to think about the accountability. Who is going to take accountable for the decisions it suggests or for the pathways it takes? So then you need to think about when it breaks or if something goes wrong, who is accountable for those AI decisions, what the AI has taken. That brings to the point you need to be thinking about building an ownership and governance model to accommodate these questions basically and take the accountability.
You talked there about accountability, but how do you get that balance right, and how do you create a structure of accountability when ultimately it's humans who are going to be responsible?
In banking and financial sector, it's full stop. The accountability lies with human. AI is doing great jobs, has a full power of astounding power of compute compared to humans. It has the ability to understand and reason across decisions. It can support in decision making, but the accountability, like I said, lies with human, which means that you need to bring in a governance and ownership model which can help define and govern when things go wrong. So why the AI has taken this decision path? Who has approved that AI model? Who has approved these controls? So all these questions need to be answered, and there is a proper structure need to be defined within this framework to answer these questions. So coming back to the point, it's all about being who is in control. It's human is in control and taking the accountability under this governance structure.
So why does continuity matter more than speed when it comes to this environment?
Continuity in banking and financial institutions is very important. Large banks and large financial institutions have been built for decades on legacy systems with a highly regulated and controlled risk and governance in place, which means that if a supplier leaves midway through a program of transformation or a change, then they take the knowledge away. So then you are risking the whole system build, you're risking the governance issues, and there is a skill gap issues. So carrying forward that continuity to give that breadth of knowledge to complete the programs is very, very important. If someone plugs away, then you take that knowledge away. So that's where the continuity is very important within the banking and financial institutions.
Clearly, we're talking to senior technology leaders here. So what should they be looking for in long-term partnerships?
The partner should be a long-term partner. Basically, that's essentially what it is. And they should drive the value in a way that they sit and give consistent support for their internal teams, the customer internal teams, and understand the regulatory space and understand the pushbacks of controls and drive and be comfortable working in those environments is very, very important. So deep domain expertise, having worked through this regulatory environment is very important. And then you come to the consistency of delivering solutions day in, day out in that space is very important. And then comes the resilience, and also comes the fact that a supplier should be thinking as an embedded team and not as an augmented team. So you're kind of thinking about knowledge transfer. So as a partner, we kind of look at a long-term knowledge transfer to the internal teams. So you give that confidence back to the customer. And one most important thing, which is oddly people miss, or it's very difficult to articulate, is the composure. So when things go wrong as a partner, you should have the composure to get things right and give the confidence back to the customer. That's very, very important.
We've talked a lot about the banking and financial services sector, what's happening, and the change at the moment is just at an extraordinary pace. So for anybody watching this interview, senior technology leaders and so on, what would you like them to remember from it?
The banking and financial institutions, the change has to be done, no doubt about it. The technology has to transform, but choose the right partner. The partner has to be embedded, has to be work with cross-functional teams, has deep expertise within the domain, and should be able to look long-term in terms of giving the confidence back and building the internal teams and giving that knowledge back to the customer internal teams. That's what you should be looking for in that partner.
Suman Alamsetti from BGTS, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.